Hey, it's Friday, but save those dinner plans for later because we've got a lot going on for you. Major League Baseball, there's a big slate to watch, plus Mike Trout is back.
And it's week 3 of the NFL preseason. Guys are playing for starting jobs, and did the Giants make the right call not taking Sam Darnold? Giants-Jets, one of 6 games tonight.
And did Brendan make the right call wearing that hat and the fake glasses? I don't know, but I do know Willie Adames from the Rays, infielder, always hilarious. He's going to join us. You don't want to miss that conversation. Plus, home run rocks, right? Who to target? Props. Watch the sweat.
All right. Glasses are off. Hat is off. No more horsing around. Welcome
Probably for the best.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think it's the right move.
Welcome into a Friday edition of The Sweat. Brendan Glasheen, Adam Kaufman. Without further ado, let's welcome in our baseball duo for tonight. DK Live, Steve Buchanan and Zach Thompson are here with us to preview a 14-gamer in the majors.
He should still be wearing his hat, shouldn't he, fellas?
I thought that was his dating profile. I thought that was like
yeah, it was straight off his Tinder page. All right, you guys know the drill here. Chase fade, first things first to get us started here. Some expensive arms tonight. There's Mike Fulton-Evans, there's Mike Clevenger, Derek Rodriguez, Rich Hill. All these guys, they're at least $9,800. So chase or fade, pitching is the most important decision on tonight's slate. Steve, start us off.
Yeah, I'm going to fade this one. I mean, pitching is always important, but no one really blows you away when you look at the options here. I mean, it's going to be one of those slates where some obscure name is going to end up being the top pitching option, like Alex Cobb or something ridiculous. He's not really, but just something like that. It's one of those type of slates. I think what's most important here is hitting on the right stack tonight because there's so many mediocre pitching options available. There's so many stacking options that you can go to, and I think that's going to be the big difference here tonight. So I think you got to look at the stacking options. Literally, you're just going to get lucky with one of these pitchers. There's not a lot of pitchers in great matchups, so I think the stacking options are the most important.
How many syllables did you just put in that word?
6.
Mediocre. Mediocre? It's going to crash.
I was so thrown off by Tinder Brandon that I just couldn't.
Stop
Maybe
it.
That could be your alter ego, Tinder Brandon.
Really, everyone's been wearing that hat and glasses around the office today. It wasn't just me.
All right, let's keep going. Zach, what do you say? Chase or fade on that?
I got to go with Steve on this. I think it's a fade. There's a lot of pitching, but there's not a lot of difference between the top and the bottom, like he said. So if you pay way up, you're going to need to really hit big. Guys are going to be the ones that step up and deliver. So you're better off investing in the middle of the range of the salaries and then paying up for the big bats. I don't think they've all got to be on one team. You could stack, but I think there's a lot of really good bats that you want to chase. So fade the pitching.
All right, let's move on to offense. Oakland Athletics, they've dropped 2 straight. A's have 3 more to go here on the road at the Twins. Then they go to Houston. Oakland 6 runs over their last 2 games after 6 runs a couple days ago against the Royals altogether in 1 game. Going back to the well on the A's, a smart move. Chase or fade, Zach?
I'm going to fade that. I think you go away from the A's tonight. They're a little bit expensive. The one exception to that is Chris Davis. He's mashing. You've got to go with him if you can afford him. But other than that, I think you stay away from the A's. They're a little expensive. Maybe Matt Chapman in a few lineups if you want. But Odorizzi's better than he gets credit for. His last 4 starts, he's only given up 1 home run and has a .222 batting average against.
How about you, Steve?
I mean, let me just break down what the A's have done over the past 2 weeks. They lead the league in WOBA at 352. They lead the league in isolated power at 216. And then they rank just 17th in K percentage. Now they're going to fake Jake Odorizzi. I mean, come on, that's not somebody you're going to be worried about. Right-handed bats on a 340 WOBA against him. Lefties a 358. The A's have a projected run total of 4.8 tonight. I mean, Zach says that, Odorizzi hasn't been bad. He also hasn't faced this Athletics team yet this season. So who says that he's not going to do well here? The A's have a powerful lineup. They've had a couple of bad days. I mean, even the Red Sox lost 3 in a row. They're right back where they're supposed to be. A's tonight, baby. I love it.
The flames.
You're not worried about the rain
there. What's that, Zach?
You're not worried about the rain? Not
The
great
rain?
conditions for hitting.
I'm not worried about the rain. Like the Crow said, it can't rain all the time.
All right, guys.
I'll use that one on Tinder.
Yeah,
There you go.
Nope. All right, Jose Ramirez, pardon me, and the Indians. They are in Kansas City. I should get it right because he's just been that good this year. The third baseman, only 3 for his last 21, though. Cheapest he's been in a while, $5,700. There's a reason for it. He has totaled just 28 fantasy points his last 6 games. It's not been pretty. Chase or fade, Ramirez's ceiling is unreachable, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, he's essentially just had a quiet week. I mean, look, this is somebody who through the second half has a 4.14 WOBA with a 3.14 isolated power, 8 home runs, and 6 doubles through 31 games. Sure, he's had a bad week, but we can't deny that. And his salary has creeped so high that the expectations are there that he's going to go mash every single game. It's just not possible for him to sustain that type of production. But look, he scored over 20 DK fantasy points in 24 games this season. That is not an easy task to obtain. And just for reference, Mookie Betts has done that 24 times. JD Martinez has done that 18. And you know about how good those guys have been this season. Ramirez is almost an awesome play every single day. Don't worry that he's in a mini slump here, because when he mashes, the dude mashes.
Yeah, another guy that's in the MVP conversation, obviously. All right, what do you say, Zach?
I'm going to chase the statement, which means I'm fading Ramirez. He's only reached double-digit fantasy points. I'll get it out. Mediocre. Double-digit fantasy points one time in his last 6 games. He's better at home than he is on the road, and he's only hitting .235 against the Royals. They know how to get him out. Unreachable might be a little strong. Of course, he could go off with a couple home runs, but I think it's better off to find better options tonight.
All right, well, Ramirez and the Indians split with the Red Sox at Fenway. Boston's down in Tampa, 90-win Boston Red Sox. Here's a way to be contrarian. Stack the Rays against Boston. I don't know, Hector Velasquez faced the Rays 5 days ago at Fenway, just 4 innings pitched. Stack the Rays tonight. Chase or fade, Zach?
I am in on the Rays tonight. Chase that. Velasquez has not been great against lefties. He's given up 6 home runs, all of them to left-handed bats. You want those left-handed bats at the top of the Rays lineup. Another thing to watch, Willie Adamas, 348 this month with 6 home runs. He's a good play, and give me all those lefties at the top. Just make sure you don't chase Malik Smith since he's not playing.
Steve, how do you feel about the Rays?
You know, I wrote the Rays up last night on the MLB cheat sheet on the DK playbook plug. So, you know, obviously the Rays, you know, they absolutely can do it. They had 11 hits last night against the Royals. And like Zach said, lefties give Velasquez a lot of trouble. 350 WOBA on the year, 6.26 FIP against them with all 6 home runs allowed. Look, the Rays probably won't be a popular option tonight because they only have a 3.7 run projection, but don't let that ownership scare you. The ownership simply won't be there. I think this is a great spot for them. I'd rather if this game was at Fenway Park, but, you know, we can't be perfect all night. The Rays don't have a lot of power, though. That's the only thing that really keeps me down on them. Only a 143 ISO versus righties on the year. But like I said, they can still get those hits. They can be very pesky, and they can rack up those fantasy points if needed. I think this is a good night for them.
All right, 3 games down on the trot. Zach and Steve, thanks so much. We'll talk to you guys in a bit.
All right, Tender Brand.
Sounds good.
All right, I think at this point we're going to move on to Willie Adames. You know, he came up with Zach. We had the opportunity to chat with him just a little bit earlier about, of course, what's a pivotal series for more so for Tampa than for Boston. And
second wild card.
Yeah, to dive into a little bit of what he's got in mind going in, especially after coming up earlier this year and looking pretty sharp. All right, we're going to start the guest here with us on the sweat from the Tampa Bay Rays. You may know him, Willie Adames. There he is, young guy. Willie, what's going on?
Oh, good, man. You know, just hanging in here.
All right, I gotta know. Right, I gotta know, what's it like being a major leaguer at 22 years old? Because I'm 36 and I feel like I've accomplished nothing.
Feels good, man. You know, this is a dream come true, and I'm just living it, man. Just living the dream and just having fun every day. I'm really happy, you know, excited to be here. Hopefully I can be here for a long time.
Willie, all in all, how is the rookie season going for you so far?
It's been better. You know, the beginning was tough, but like now, you know, it's getting better. You know, I'm feeling more comfortable. But I would say that I'm doing pretty good right now, and hopefully I can keep doing it like that.
Let's go back to May 22nd, first of all. That date mean anything to you?
Ooh, of course, man. That was my debut.
That's right. Major League debut against the Red Sox, same team you've got this weekend. And that was just a crazy day for you. You missed your flight. You only get to the park about 30 minutes before the game. Then you take one of the best pitchers in the world in Chris Sale deep for a homer for your first big league hit. What was that experience like?
It was crazy. It was crazy. That day was amazing. You know, everything was fast. I missed the flight, like you said, the first one, and I took the second one. Then it got delayed for like 30 minutes. And then when we got to Tampa, we had to fly around because it was a storm going on, so we couldn't land it. Then we landed like 30 minutes before, and I got here like 25 minutes before the game. It was crazy. And then I had to face Chris Sale. I was like, this is a nightmare, man. I got my first day. Then, you know, I hit that homer. It was special, man. I didn't believe that. When I was running the bases, I was like, did I just hit a homer against Sale? That's crazy. So, you know, that was just a special moment for me. And I was just happy, you know, that I could have get a hit against it. I was just trying to hit a foul ball against him, I swear. Because that guy is too nasty, and he's, you know, one of the best pitchers in the league, and I just wanted to make contact against him that day. But it was a crazy day, and how you say, unforgettable?
Unforgettable, yeah.
Day, yeah.
Well, and be honest, that night when you went home, I mean, how many times did you watch the replay of that home run on SportsCenter or on the app, wherever it may have been?
Like 1,000 times. I didn't sleep that night. I went to sleep at like 4 in the morning.
Man,
did you get the ball?
Of course, I got the ball framed. I'm about to send it home with my family now.
Oh, there you go.
What'd you have to give up for it? Did you have to trade a fan anything?
Yeah, like a couple balls signed it and a couple pictures. It was a couple Venezuelan guys that got the ball, so they were cool. I was like, I don't know, we just want a couple pictures and a couple signed balls. And I was like, all right, thank you guys.
Well, hey, you guys got the Red Sox at home. Hate to tell you, you got them at the Trop this weekend. You're 5-11 so far against them this year. Is there anything we can do to help you?
Yeah, is there anything from here? Yeah, pointers we can give you, something?
Hey, I don't know. You just give me something. I don't know. If you can give me something, I'll take it. Something positive.
I mean, whatever helps you out, I guess. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm a Red Sox fan, so I'm not exactly. I'm rooting for you personally. I hope you do great. I'm not so much rooting for your team to win.
Yeah, now I know that you're not gonna give me anything.
Yeah.
Hey, no sale. We can tell you that. No sale.
Yeah, that's the best we can do for you.
No sale? All right, take that.
Hey, before we let you go, we got to talk about this opener thing that you guys have had going on throughout a good chunk of the year. Like even going back to last weekend, one example obviously, and it was against this team that you're about to face. You had Diego Castillo go out. He started the game, pitches an inning and 2/3. Then Jalen Beeks comes in against his old team, pitches the next 4 shutout innings.
He was terrific.
Yeah, he was great. But talk to me like I'm an idiot for a second, because I am. Why doesn't Bewkes just go out there and start the game if clearly he's prepared to do it?
I wish I have an answer for you, but like that's what they've been doing. So I don't know. For me, when I was in AAA and I saw that the first time, I was like, what the hell are they doing? I don't know how Roma's gonna start a game, but like they know what they're doing. I think so. Like it's like you say before, it's been working for them, and I think they're gonna keep doing it even next year. So.
Even next year. You guys need real starters. Guys that are going to go out and throw 5 innings. You know what, though? This could be good. The more that I think about it, do you have any pitching history? Did you ever do that, like even growing up a little bit? Because this could be your best opportunity to start a major league game.
For real. Like, for guys that never start a game, it's like, I'm about, like Castillo last night, say, I might have 5 innings tomorrow. I got to be ready. I got to rest up. So, you know.
Did you say to him, no, you don't? We know you don't because of the opener thing?
That's what I told him. I say, man, you know, maybe 1 inning. What are you talking about? Fine. You know that. So it's like you say.
All right, Willie Adames, infielder for the Rays. Thanks a lot for your time. Best of luck against the Red Sox this weekend and the rest of the year, man. Thanks for talking.
You're right, dude. That was great.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
All right, rehearsal time in the NFL. Week 3 of the preseason continues with 6 games tonight. So here to break them down for us, we got DK Live's Reed Fowler, Ian Hartitz of Action Network, and the fantasy girl, Rosalie Michaels. And everyone, of course, tonight's the night we get our best look at the 2018 rosters, including plenty of bubble players.
And let's just not kid ourselves here, guys and gals. Some players have roster spots that are rock solid, like these quarterbacks in action. Brady, Newton, Wilson, Cousins, Rodgers. You're rostering these guys on your fantasy teams. That's not the question. We want to know which quarterback has the most fantasy stock on the line that can be targeted tonight. Rosalie, get us started?
Well, I'm going with Teddy Bridgewater. Now, the difference here is that Teddy knows that he could be playing not for the starting position, not just on the Jets, but on any number of teams, right? And that's going to motivate him to continue his impressive preseason. Now, Darnold is going to play the first half against a very effective preseason Giants D. But I think that Bridgewater comes in and has a much better game than Sam Darnold. I expect Sam Darnold to make a lot of mistakes in this game, and you're not going to see those mistakes out of Teddy. He knows what he's playing for, and he's going to leave it all out on the field. Now, he already has 2 touchdowns this preseason. He's going to add to that tonight.
All right. Hot take
Confidence.
to start the segment.
Confidence.
How about you, Ian? Let's go to you next.
Yeah, so I picked Sam Darnold here, so I'm going a little bit the other direction. But look, I mean, he's already starting tonight. The Jets clearly want Sam Darnold to be their guy come week 1. He's getting at least a half of playing time. And the one thing he has shown us this preseason so far is he looks like he belongs. I mean, he's completed 72.4% of his passes, moved well in the pocket. Only thing we haven't seen is he's completing he's only averaging 5.4 yards per attempt. He needs to push the ball downfield at some point. I think tonight, with it all on the line against the Giants defense that allowed the second most DraftKings points per game, the quarterbacks last season, I think Sam Darnold will finally make some of the wow throws that we've been waiting for.
All right, man in the middle, Reed Fowler, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, initially I read this question incorrectly, so I got to call myself out. I made a big mistake. But the person I'm looking at is Ryan Fitzpatrick, and look, he's entering his 14th season, so he's not a rookie, right? He's not necessarily applying for a job, but he is potentially applying for his backup or his staple as a backup anywhere. Look, 20 of 32 teams last year used their backup quarterback at some point. Fitzpatrick in 2015 threw 30-plus touchdowns. And so this guy is a serviceable quarterback. And Winston's a loose cannon. Like, when is this guy going to grow up, right? Could you potentially see Fitzpatrick maybe going 2-1? He probably won't go 2-1 or 3-0 because they play the Eagles, Steelers, and I forget the other team that they play, but 3 really hard teams in the first 3 games. So I don't think that they go out 2-1 or 3-0. But you need Fitzpatrick to do well. And look, they need to get the timing down too with Evans and all the receivers. And so I'm looking at Fitzpatrick to play against Detroit pretty well. So he's my guy.
Reed, we'll sit down a little later, work on your reading comprehension, okay?
I know Rosalie, I think, was the only one who read this question correctly. So kudos to her.
All right, well, I don't know if you have to just knock Ian down in the process, but
Ian, you're coming down with me.
bring it right down with the ship. Ian, let's go right back to you. Which running back has the most upside on the slate this evening, you think?
Yeah, so I'm sticking in Tampa Bay. I'm going with Peyton Barber. Look, this Tampa Bay starting running back job as of about a few days ago was looking like only an early down roll. But we got Charles Sims on injured reserve now. So the winner of Peyton Barber, Ronald Jones, is looking like they could have a 3-down roll entering week 1. Right now, Barber has been winning that role. Just killing it. He's averaging 5.3 yards per rush. Ronald Jones is only at 0.9. I mean, he was a second-round pick. I think a lot of people expected him to land that job, but that hasn't been the case. And now Barber has, a home audition for this 3-down role against the Lions defense that everyone was able to run over last year. So expecting a big night out of Peyton Barber.
Reed, you want to try again? I'm looking for a running back with the most upside on the slate this evening.
Talking about CFL, correct? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll bring in Jeff later.
Yeah, I'm going Wayne Gallman in New York. Rosalie touched on it. The New York Giants are trending up both on offense and defense. And if you look at this guy who, quote unquote, won the job last season towards the end, the last 3 games, he totaled 17 targets in the passing game. And average about 11 carries. Like, he's now, the reports have come out that he's doing a lot better than John Stewart out in New York. So when you look at that backup spot or that number 2 spot behind Saquon, and look, even OBJ's not playing, Saquon's obviously not playing, so there's a lot of opportunity for Wayne Gallman, who's essentially one of these guys that, like Pat Shurmur wants, right? We saw in Minnesota, he's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I got Wayne Gallman. I got this one right.
All right, well, it remains to be seen. Yeah, he's feeling pretty confident anyway. Rosalie, yes, I can trust you. What do you have?
Hold on, Reed. First of all, you got this one right. It said starting position. Starting position.
There we go. See, Rosalie's so nice. Nicer than our hosts.
It's fair.
But I'll give you a pass this time. But I love the fact that the blonde was the one who read the question. So I'm going with LeGarrette Blount. Now, LeGarrette Blount, that I know everybody's got their eyes on Kerryon Johnson, but his numbers are pretty decent for the first 2 preseason games. And he has a history with the head coach, Matt Patricia, from New England, right? Abdullah, he looked pitiful, and he looks like he's going to be relegated to the 3rd spot. And so everybody's got their eyes on Kerryon, but he finished last game with 9 yards on 4 carries against the Giants. Now, granted, we did say the Giants are doing pretty well on preseason D, but with Blunt is a big bruiser back, and he's the goal line back. And with Tampa Bay's D-line really thin on the inside, and the likelihood that I don't think Detroit's going to play Kerryon a ton. Now, I might be crazy. You guys can call me crazy. I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I'm calling for 2 touchdowns tonight from LeGarrette Blount.
Yikes.
And he could make this a split carry season for that Lions backfield.
I hope so. He's on my fantasy team.
All right, we got to speed this up, Reed. So hope you're ready for this one. Let's move to pass catchers. We'll start with wide receivers. You guys took a wide receiver route to this question. Eyebrows that are raising up tonight for a fantasy wide receiver.
Yeah, mine's Geronimo Allison in Green Bay. Look, there's a lot of reports that have come out that Randall Cobb potentially is being shopped, and Ian Rappaport of NFL Network obviously said that's not true. Don't think he's going anywhere with his what he's supposed to get this year in his income. But if you look at Geronimo Allison, you want that number 3, you want a pass catcher, you want some stock in the Green Bay offense. And so I'm looking at, like, Rodgers might not play, but even if that's the case, Geronimo Allison, big receiver, tall receiver in the system, so I like him.
Rosalie, who do you got?
I got Deshaun Jackson. He's another veteran out to prove that he's not done yet. And with Chris Godwin creeping in on that number 2 spot, but when you look at the numbers, Deshaun still has the edge. 3 catches for 91 yards. The only thing he's missing is a touchdown. I think that he gets that tonight against a very sloppy Lions D that just gave up 30 points to the Giants.
Ian, wide receiver you're targeting.
Yeah, real quick, I like Cortland Sutton, Demaryius Thomas, and Emmanuel Sanders are each going to be 31 at the end of this year. Broncos didn't draft Sutton, arguably the draft's highest upside receiver in the 2nd round to sit on the bench. He's already established himself in 3 wide receiver sets. I think with a big night or two, maybe Demaryius Thomas finds a trade partner sooner than people thought.
All right, we're going to wrap with the slate of proof picks, guys, for this 6-gamer, and I want just the name, no explanation. Who do you really like among all that we've been discussing? Ian, you first.
Among discussing, give me Cortland Sutton.
Rosalie.
I'm stacking Cousin and Diggs. Gimme.
And Reed, try and get it right.
Wayne Gallman.
Perfect. They
Good
follow
stuff,
instructions so well when you rush them.
Yeah, Reed really improved as we went along there.
He did.
Thanks, guys.
High upside, Reed Fowler.
All right, thanks.
Enjoy the games. We're going to talk with Pat Mayo because I'm sure he's locked into all the action tonight. Here's Mayo on late bloomers to target in your fantasy drafts.
There are some late round flyers that I want to throw out to you. You throw some back at me. So for people doing their drafts this weekend or into next week, whenever it is, just some guys after the 10th round that you can take a flyer on. The first one that I'm going to start off with, it's attached to a news story, and I just want it to be true. So I'm going to try to will it into existence. However, ESPN Saints reporter Mike Triplett pegs Jonathan Williams as the leading candidate to fill the Mark Ingram role during his 4-game suspension. They've already cut Terrence West. It looks like that will be his role. You might be able to mine some value very early on in the season, but I keep saying this about Mark Ingram. What if Williams is just better and keeps the job?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, it's true because Mark Ingram's the worst running back in football.
For you, obviously.
I mean, in reality it is. I mean, I don't know what Kool-Aid you're drinking, but I think that Williams, if he performs, he can keep the job.
I don't think he'll keep the job, but I think with the bigger threat to me is that Mark Ingram doesn't come back into the definitive lead and kind of that 60-40 split where he's getting 55-60% of the workload every single week. That's where I'm more concerned about what this does to Mark Ingram than I do for Jonathan Williams. But I'm with you. I've been taking Jonathan Williams in tons of drafts over the past 2 weeks because all we wanted to know is who the number 2 is going to be in the time that Ingram was out. And Jonathan Williams, as you and I talked about before, I think just last week, people forgot already. He looked really good at times when he was with the Bills before he got suspended back then, too.
Okay. Who's the first late-round flyer you want to check out?
You know what? You stole one of them, so I'll go different at wide receiver. And people are retaking him already. I still think you should because this team moved on from their number 2 wide receiver who hasn't got a job since they left him. Your boy, Sexwell LaFell, is John Ross. John Ross, I know he's limited. I know he's a 9 route with a little bit more skill. He's a little bit more skilled than Torrey Smith when it comes down to that, but his speed, it just makes up for it where you can get that separation. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver. And if you're talking about a number 2 wide receiver on any of the 32 teams, that's fantasy value. I don't care if you're the worst passing offense in the league. You have value as the number 2 wide receiver, and John Ross deserves some value, especially I bet, if you're looking for those big home run plays, there's very few that are bigger than him.
The next one for me, and I'm sure it's the one that you would agree on, that is the one that we're going to throw out there, and we're probably going to target like 10th, 11th, 12th round. John Brown is just having such a good camp. You keep mentioning that he's out of the West. He's now into the East. It might be better for his health, if nothing else, and he's the perfect complement for Joe Flacco's arm, and we know he's going to be the solidified number 2. He's playing all the snaps. You might not like the Ravens offense, but this is a big play guy that could turn out to be relatively consistent week after week after week.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I've actually been taking John Brown even a little bit earlier just to make sure I get him at this point, because the hype is starting to come around on him. Hey, you know what? That guy that had 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns with the Cardinals a couple years ago, that talent is still there, because ever since then it's been dealing with that sickle cell and the altitude. So yes, it's John Brown, and I own a high percentage of John Brown.
Okay, who's next for you?
Do you want me to go running back? I'll go running back. Look, it's a handcuff type of situation, but we're digging deep at running back because there's so many names. Everybody knows the names at running back at this point. Like if I said, oh, go draft Matt Breida late. Okay, people are like, yeah, I know to draft Matt Breida. No kidding. So I'm going to say that what I thought was going to happen, even when they signed Jonathan Stewart, just in case Saquon Barkley gets hurt, Wayne Gallman is the backup that I want for the Giants, not Jonathan Stewart, who's been outplayed by Gallman this entire time. Gallman was just drafted last year from Clemson, is a very nice running back. If you're looking at the end of drafts and you're drafting the Chase Edmonds and the Latavius Murrays, who's going a little bit earlier than that. But if you're drafting those guys where you're like, hey, if the person in front of him gets hurt, who's going to get the majority of the touches and maybe find some value for me? It's actually Wayne Gallman.
Yeah, for me, I think I'd rather draft John Kelly or even Edmonds in that spot because I project them to be in a better part of an offense. They still do have Jonathan Stewart around, and those two guys could step into the role. I don't know necessarily if Edmonds would just take over, but I could see him having a 75% snap share.
Oh, I'm with you. I said that when they drafted him. I'm 100% with you on the Edmonds, is that he'll be an RB2 if David Johnson gets hurt. There's not a question in my mind. The Kelly one is a little bit more concerning because they seem to like Brown. I'm not sure that Kelly gets the entire workload if anything were to happen.
Last guy for me, and again, this is just a situation, and if I have John Brown, I probably won't take Ryan Grant, but he's going to be the number 2 in Indianapolis.
I'm taking both of them.
Yeah, I mean, you can take both of them, but I think that he might be the number 2 receiver in Indianapolis. Jack Doyle could actually be the second most leading target getter on the team over Grant, but I still think it's worth like a 14th round pick.
Yeah, I've actually been taking him a little bit earlier because check the tape. Didn't I just say it to you last week? Was when I gave you the scenario where I said, hey, if I could tell you who the number 2 wide receiver for the Colts was as of today for all 16 games, people would be taking him in the 8th round. Didn't I say that to you?
Yeah, you said it on the show.
I just don't remember. I was legitimately asking. I wasn't trying to be smarmy.
Oh, yeah, no, it was you, and you did say that.
Okay, yeah, so I'm with you on Ryan Grant. I have him in a lot of, and you know what? I don't mind owning Ryan Grant and John Brown.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Well, we go from football to football. Plenty of Premier League matches on the docket this weekend. The RotoWire pair joins the Sweat, Jordan Cooper and Andrew Laird. Jordan, I'm sorry, Charlie Davies was unavailable to mess around with you tonight.
Oh, well, he got embarrassed after my picks did better than his.
We'll have to bring him back the next time. These two, I like watching these two guys.
We'll have to roll back the tape for Charlie to hear that one. We're going to focus solely on the 5 matches Saturday, fellas. Let's figure out how to attack this slate. Jordan, get us started. Who are some hidden gems that you have in mind?
Well, one of my favorite games is on this slate for DFS, Huddersfield versus Cardiff, which means it's the 2 worst teams in the league facing each other. I know it's early in the season, but this is a relegation 6-pointer, so this game could either be very cagey, or if there's a goal scored early, it could really open up. I know the players are horrible on these teams, but there's no one more expensive than $6,600. So I think that you could easily go in for your salary savers, play 1, maybe 2 in cash games, and possibly take a cheap goal in GPP out of the forwards.
Andrew, your hidden gems.
Yeah, I mean, I understand all the explanation for Cardiff Huddersfield, but like Jordan said, they're awful. And so I'd rather just focus instead on Bournemouth and Everton, who actually have a much higher total in that game. They have guys who are very attractive for cash games and GPP, so you can go either way. They're obviously different players, but I mean, if you're going to get peripheral stats, which is what we look for in cash games, you might as well get it from the teams that might actually be good as opposed to the teams that might just kick the ball out of bounds all the time.
I tell you, I wish every team in every professional league had to live in fear of relegation. I think it's just such a great concept. So many teams would be gone, just done. All right, well, Andrew, how about some clubs that are worth targeting? Now, you have up to 10 to choose from, obviously. What do you have?
I mean, Liverpool and Arsenal are going to be the obvious ones. They're humongous favorites in both of their games. Arsenal's a little tough when it comes to cash games, and so I actually would prefer to target some of the Leicester guys playing against Southampton who've looked awful early. So we have guys like James Maddison, Ben Chilwell, and you can even get kind of a cheaper goal out of somebody like Kelechi Iheanacho, who's going to get the start up front without Jamie Vardy kind of taking a lot of the pressure off of him and moving it to guys like Maddison.
Jordan?
Well, I'm going to go with the chalk. I think the teams Liverpool, Arsenal, they're both at home. The totals are ridiculous. Liverpool's put up 5 goals against Brighton the past 2 times. Arsenal against West Ham's defense, they're a mess. I think it's not a matter of the teams, it's a matter of the players. So Salah on Liverpool is going to be a very popular choice. Aubameyang on Arsenal. But I think that there is value from an ownership perspective of going off the board. Take Firmino or Mane. Take Lacazette if he starts. Mkhitaryan, Ozil if he's in. I think both teams are going to score 3+ goals. It's just a matter of where they come from and try to find the least popular ways for them to score.
Do you think Arsenal's due for a bounce back, though?
Well, I don't particularly like Arsenal, so I mean, I hope they're not. But it is a revenge game. West Ham has Jack Wilshere and Lucas Fabianski. So if you really want to go down narrative street, they're going to be really cheap. They're a big underdog, but hey, I've seen people win GPPs with less.
Andrew, what do you think? You were shaking your head.
I mean, the Jack Wilshere thought is just ridiculous. But I mean, yes, they can bounce back. The difficulty with Arsenal, we kind of mentioned before, they don't really have that many great cash game players. I mean, they kind of become cash game players because they're such big favorites this weekend. But I mean, they're great for GPPs, particularly for people who are going to be stacking Liverpool. You can automatically go right to Arsenal. Jordan mentioned Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who I think is a great move this week. Mesut Ozil, I can't get on board with that.
All right, our heads can get wrapped up in popular players. This is the advice we need, guys. Got to be quick here. Which popular players are worth fading? Jordan.
I think the 2 that you should consider fading the most would be Richarlison on Everton and Callum Wilson. Both have scored goals in their past 2 games, so I think their ownership is going to be inflated. And with Liverpool and Arsenal as bigger favorites, I'd rather find a similarly priced player in that game rather than go with the pack that wants to go off the board on these popular plays that may be 20+% owned in your GPPs.
Andrew, popular players to fade.
I mean, the obvious one is Mohamed Salah. I mean, he's the best player on the slate. So there's obviously plenty of risk in it, but he's going to be by far the highest owned, particularly in GPPs, maybe even cash games. I mean, probably in cash games. So if you really want to make that jump in GPPs, he's easy fade. And, you could kind of pivot to Sadio Mane, who is a similar price to him. I like Roberto Firmino, but like I said, Arsenal guys offer a lot of good pivots off of Liverpool. So if you really want to make some noise in GPPs, fade Mohamed Salah.
Well, it's Salah, $11,300. All right, so that's fading. How about your slate-approved picks for Saturday's 5-match slate? Guys that you need to go with. Just each of you give me one. We'll go quickly here. Andrew, you first.
Yeah, I think Gylfi Sigurdsson's probably going to be really popular. Everton are going to end up being favorites away to Bournemouth. He takes all their set pieces, so at least in cash games, he's probably the easiest one to take.
Jordan?
Well, if you're going to need a lower-end salary midfielder to fit in these high-priced forwards in the Liverpool and Arsenal game, my slate-approved pick is Joe Rawls. Yes, that's right. He's from Cardiff City in the horrible game with the 2 bad teams. But if Junior Hualet, who had a knock, is out, Rawls will be over all dead balls for Cardiff City, and for $4,800, he doesn't have to do much to pay off his price tag. So I'm going to go for 6-7 points out of him, and then load up with the goal scorers up top.
All right, Jordan Cooper, Andrew Laird, guys, thanks so much.
Could be a Cardiff Giant. I don't know if anyone's seen Made out there. Could be. Make sure you check those guys out, obviously. Let's make the move right back to baseball. We're going to welcome back Steve and Zach. Special segment that we like to call Put Up Your Bewkes. Steve thinks very highly of it, and, well, we think highly of him, so we like to throw him a bone every once in a while. Steve, we need a few picks for tonight, some great plays, and then, Zach, you can just go ahead and tell us why they're awful. Bewkes, first one.
Kaufman, don't forget this is the highest rated segment. It's loved by many and hated by none. So don't forget that part, okay?
I will not forget that I have heard all of those things from you.
All right, so we're going to start off with CC Sabathia for 23 DK fantasy points tonight. He's $9,000, which is kind of expensive, and all the haters are going to say, well, the Orioles have roughed him up before, but you know what? Their best hitters against lefties, they're not even with them anymore. The Orioles are dead last against lefties in WOBA at 262 and isolated power at 110. Their K percentage, there was Jeff. Their K percentage at 24.2%, which is the 5th highest in the league. Like I said, he's a little bit pricey for tonight, but I think the matchup is fantastic. It might be one of the safest on the slate, so I'm absolutely going with Sabathia.
Bewkes, you're boring Ulrich. He had to show his face just to let him know he was disappointed. I'm just kidding. I thought it was great. Zach, but tell him why the pick's crap. What do you got?
The pick's crazy. That's what it is. 22 starts for Sabathia. You know how many times he's got 23? 4. 4 for 23. Not really what you're going for. On the road, he's got an ERA of almost 4.5. And like you said, he's given up 8 runs in 9 innings against Baltimore. Yeah, a little bit different team, but still, last time he got 3.25 when he faced them. Not a pitcher I'm going with tonight. Thanks.
Zach, have you seen this lineup?
I have.
Okay, we'll keep going.
It's very different. I would think it's very different, just for the record. But
there's no Machado and there's no Scope and there's no Trumbo. Brandon, stay out of this. We're gonna go with Manny Machado, 16 fantasy points against the Padres for 4,800. I think Machado's a bit contrarian because the shortstop position is absolutely loaded tonight. You got Trevor Story at Coors Field, Xander Bogaerts, Alex Bregman against a lefty, all priced above him. Machado is finally starting to hit a little more consistently lately. He draws a matchup against Clayton Richard. Machado against lefties this year, 382 WOBA with a 215 isolated power and a 41% hard hit rate. Look, Richard struggles against righties, which I don't know how you make it in the major leagues struggling against right-handed bats. That's pretty much all you face, but here we are. He's pitching tonight. So Manny Machado, 16 DK fantasy points. Put that one on the board.
Can I talk now?
No, I just thought we should lay out.
Oh.
At least if you're going to call him Brandon, call him Tinder Brandon, so we don't confuse the alter ego with Brendan here.
Fair enough.
Zach, what do you got?
I actually like this one as much as I hate the Sabathia pick, but I do want to call your attention to right in front of Machado in the lineup. Turner's the better play. Turner hits lefties better, and he is 9 for 21, Mr. BVP against Clayton.
Ha.
All right.
Take that, Steve.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with Turner. I didn't say you can't play Turner. Go play both of them. Great ideas.
You know I won't give you a hard time on BVP.
Works for me.
Give us another guy.
Mayor of BVP here. All right, we're going to go with Tyler Austin for 14 DK fantasy points against Sean Manaea. We've talked about Austin before and his numbers against lefties. When we talked about him, he's actually come through. We're hoping to continue that role here tonight. Against lefties, 417 WOBA with a 359 isolated power, 7 of his 12 home runs on the year. You know, Manaea is no stranger to allowing home runs, 21 on the year, 19 of those to righties. On the road versus righties, they've had 10 of those home runs. Look, Manaea has been knocked around a lot since the All-Star break, and now he goes to Target Field. This ain't no Coliseum, baby. This is a much better ballpark than the Coliseum, so I really like Austin tonight as a sneaky play.
Zach?
He's good against lefties, I'll give you that, and his dad is fun to follow on Twitter. But Manaea's only given up 1 home run in his last 5 starts before his last outing against the Astros. So I don't think he's going to get shelled tonight, and I don't think Austin's going to get to your level without a home run. I don't think he gets it.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. Steve, thank you for letting me talk again to close the segment.
You're welcome.
All right.
Fair enough.
You guys are free for the night, so enjoy your weekend, enjoy the baseball, and don't do anything I wouldn't do, and definitely don't do anything Koff would do.
Oh, that's hard to say.
Oh, you guys are back later on.
Sorry. Oh, all right. Yeah. Stick around.
Spoiler
we'll talk
alert.
to you again. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break because this week a couple of our friends here, Emerson Lancia and Jesse Cofield, they caught up with Rays ace Blake Snell about how he got his nickname and an interesting NFL friendship, too. Enjoy.
Who's credited with, your nickname? We've talked about your number. How about your nickname, which is also your Twitter and Instagram handles, Snellzilla?
Yeah, when I was younger, I'd play video games with my older brother all the time. And the gamer tag he made the gamer tag Snellzilla. And I put it as like my Instagram and my Twitter, not thinking anything of it. Just like, I don't want to just be Blake Snell. Like, that just seems boring to me. So I made it Snellzilla, and then from that point on, teammates started calling me Snellzilla, and kind of just took off. And now a lot of people call me Snellzilla or Zilla or Zill, and it's kind of just stuck since then.
Love that. Love that. Now, it appears that you have formed quite the friendship with New York Giants stud wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. How did this relationship between you guys start?
Well, it all started from my best friend, Stone Spear. I played baseball with him in 2013 and 2014 with the Rays, and our friendship grew pretty quick. And I'd always go to New Orleans, and his best friend is Odell. So when I went to LA this year, my friend Stone was in LA with Odell, and we always talked about just we got to meet each other. So then when I went to LA, we met each other. Then he came to the Angels game when I pitched, and he hit BP on the field and did all that. And we've kept in contact since then. I saw him when I went to New York last week, so we stay in contact. And no, we're just good friends. I'll probably see him during the season at some point too.
All right, now we got a loaded question for you here. Who's your favorite NFL player right now?
Okay,
okay, that's fair enough.
Good answer. We'll be sure to tweet that one out for you. Hey, how into fantasy sports are you, though?
I want to say I'm into fantasy sports as much as I'm into Seattle sports.
Okay.
But I play fantasy football. My team's usually good. I haven't drafted this year. I'm still picking everyone I want in my league, so we got to hurry that up. But we're usually a last-minute kind of group of friends, so we'll figure that out. But I'm pretty heavy into fantasy football. All my friends play fantasy baseball. They love it. But no, I'd say Seattle sports is more my thing. The Seahawks, University of Washington football.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my teams. University of Washington. Period. I love everything about that university. So I watch their basketball team, their football team, and that's more of my passion to watch sports.
He is a Seattle kid, so that all makes sense.
Of course. Now, you mentioned, though, the fantasy football. How big of a deal is fantasy football in the clubhouse? Is there like a special Rays league?
Yeah, there's a Rays league. I'm not in it. I just feel like that'd be too much for me. But no, it's big in the clubhouse. Everyone talks about it. Everyone gets excited about it. So it's fun to be able to hear my teammates talk with one another. It's pretty funny and comical once the teams get drafted. So I haven't seen that they've drafted the teams yet, but they will soon, and I can't wait to hear them talking to each other in a comical way, if you will.
Yeah, speaking of funny and comical, you got any good fantasy team names in the past that you can share with us? Maybe some that are PG rated?
PG-13, maybe.
Yeah, PG-13 too. This is the internet.
We can do what we want. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing too good. I don't even know what my team name was last year. It was what I made my name. It was a diss to my best friend in the league. But I think I was called the Cupcakes or something. Or something really directed my friend Cupcaking way too much. So that's why I named my team the Cupcakes. So
love that.
Yeah, I highly recommend maybe Stinky Peterson.
This year I might just be like Stinky Peterson with a wink face.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be perfect.
Stinky Peterson like 13, to honor Odell.
All right, great stuff from Blake or Snellzilla, I guess. Let's bring back Reed. Welcome in Jeff Ulrich. Again, we got a little preview of his head before, but we're going to bring you back in here, pal. Good to see you. Hey, do you guys have any terrible nicknames, by the way? Well, we'll get to hear from you, I promise. Or hopefully you can hear us. That's the most important thing. All right, let's try one more time. How are you guys? Can you hear me?
I'm good now that I'm unmuted.
Well,
we got to mute Jeff.
I was actually better when you were muted, to be perfectly honest. I'll ask you again.
I'm happy I can hear them.
Yeah. Any terrible nicknames that you guys have on the level of Snellzilla?
Jeff, you want to take this one?
No.
All right. Well, now
Adam Kaufman is a terrible
you're just
nickname for me.
Time. All right, go ahead. Try and have a little fun.
All right, you two are here to talk golf, right?
Apparently.
And because today's second round at the Northern Trust, who are the most notable names projected to miss the cut, Reed?
Well, and we're final now, right? The cut line has been drawn at even, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
So the
final.
two.
We're final.
Yep, we're final. And then the two guys. Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
Couple implosions. I mean, John Rahm obviously was like +6 today. I mean, I think he's probably the most disappointing, but you got a few other guys. Ryan Moore was a bit of a popular play. He putted poorly. Xander Schauffele is another player who's kind of on the Ryder Cup bubble. I think some people expect him to do well this week. He missed out. Those are definitely the biggest names. Most of the good players made it through the cut. It's a reduced field this week, so you didn't make it through the cut. You actually played pretty bad, to be honest. So,
Reed?
Yeah, just to add to that, if we want to stick with that Ryder Cup narrative as well, Justin Rose +4. He was 25% owned in GPPs, and so a lot of lineups got burned by Jay Rose. We might see that injury to his back that we saw a couple of weeks ago could be flaring up. Tiger mentioned it too. Like, you're playing 5 of 6 tournaments if you go through the FedEx Cup playoffs and the Ryder Cup. So we'll see what happens. On Twitter, he said he's fine. He's going to play next week, but we'll see.
Just to mention, by the way, Jamie Lovemark, he was a co-leader after round 1, remains a co-leader after the second round. He's at 10 under, same as Brooks Koepka. So those two guys have the advantage right now. One shot back, Adam Scott and Tiger Woods even. So he did make the cut. He's still going into the weekend. So something that people will pay attention to naturally. But, enough about the guys that missed the cut, the losers. How about notables that, are still in the mix to do something this weekend? What do you think, Jeff?
yeah, I mean, I go back to the Ryder Cup narrative. You got a lot of young Americans in the mix. Bryson DeChambeau -8. But then you got Cantlay and Finau, Tony Finau, right there at -6. So I would watch all 3 of those players, because if one of them wins this week, they're almost going to guarantee themselves, in my opinion, to be one of the captain's picks. So that's kind of the tournament within the tournament. At the other side, you got Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson, who are just still in beast mode. One of these guys could definitely pull away over the weekend. Koepka's at -10, so I mean, I kind of expect him to win the entire FedEx Cup this year. So,
Reed?
Yeah, I mean, when we've seen Brooks in the lead, he rarely gives it up, right? So, and you have Dustin Johnson, who's got 2 triple bogeys, one on Thursday and one today, and he's still 2 back. So just shows how good these guys are. Tommy Fleetwood is someone I'm keeping my eye on. He's a few back, I believe, at -6 or -7. And then Bubba Watson, he's 6 back. And so 2 of these guys, right, Tommy and Bubba, these guys can rattle off birdies. Sure, they can give you a 76 on Saturday or Sunday, but just as much they can give you a 63. So those are the 2 guys that I'm watching. So Tommy Fleetwood and Bubba.
All right, people might be interested now after 2 rounds to get involved in a showdown contest this weekend. We hope they would be. Who are the best targets? Jeff, we'll start with you.
yeah, get in there. Get in the showdown format. I mean, there's only a few more golf tournaments left. People got to take every round counts. I'm looking at Patrick Cantlay. He's first in strokes gained tee to green. He's like 100th in putting. The putting usually flips. The tee to green play usually stays the same. So Patrick Cantlay is definitely a player I'm interested in. And I mean, look, I talked up Tiger Woods before the week. I'm still interested in Tiger. He's got one of the best third round averages on tour this year. He's putted like crap so far too. And then the other guy I kind of got my eye on is Kevin Kisner. He's a very good bentgrass POA putter according to the stats. Hasn't putted well so far this week. I expect that to flip too. So those are kind of my 3 main targets.
Reed, how about your best showdown targets?
Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood, if I'm taking a stud at that price at 10-4, I do like him. He's 8th in birdies or better gained over the last 24 rounds. So if you want to pay up for a stud outside of the other guys that are, up on that leaderboard, you don't get points for finishing position on showdowns. And so you want guys to get birdie. And like Jeff was saying, you want that putting, that putting stat to flip. And so my second guy is Danny Lee. He's priced in that low 7K range. He's a value play. We haven't seen Danny Lee show up, if at all, this season, but you see his strokes getting around the green and putting are pretty good this week. And so when you look at that, and strokes getting off the tee, when you look at those things and you need that putting to flip, that's what you want. So Danny Lee is my value play for the showdown weekend.
All right, well, who do we stay away from? Those are the guys to target. So naturally, who are the ones to be in fear of, I suppose? Who do you fade this weekend? Reed, right back to you.
Yeah, I'm looking at Jamie Lovemark. I think that when we see this guy, yes, he's playing well, obviously. He's up on that leaderboard, but his strokes gained putting, he's #1 Thursday, Friday. Yes, you want a guy who can, play it around the green and can putt well. But if that flips at all, his strokes gain approach and off the tee are 78th and 100th respectively. So if the ball striking is not there, and if that putting flips just a little bit come the weekend, Jamie Lovemark at 9K is someone that you have to pay up. Look, he was in the low 7K, so his price bumped or increased almost $2,000. So when you look at what he's doing with ball striking, it scares me a little bit. He's putting lights out, and if he keeps that up, obviously he's going to play well. But if that goes back to the mean a little bit, if that comes back, then I'm scared. So Jamie Lovemark would be my first guy. And Phil Mickelson, yes, he's playing well. Yes, he rattled off a ton of birdies today, but he's another guy. He's another guy who can blow up on the weekend. So those are two guys that I'm probably fading this weekend.
Whatever. Lefty's only thinking about his big match with Tiger at this point anyway. He's not in the right headspace. What do you think, Jeff?
Look, Reed's being nice. I mean, Jamie Lovemark's gained over 8.8 strokes on the greens so far. People who win golf tournaments don't even gain that many with the putter. So this is going to flip. He's going to get chased down. It's probably going to be a bad round coming. Do not pay up for him, in my opinion, if you're playing on the weekend. And Hideki Matsuyama is another player. He's priced like above guys like Tiger. Again, he's putted well the first 2 rounds, and I know Hideki's a much more quality player, but he hasn't really been in sync the whole season. If you're going to pay up that much, you might as well just take one of the big names like Dustin or Brooks. So I'll fade Hideki on the weekend too.
All right, let's wrap with your slate-approved locks to win this tournament. Let's start with you, Jeff.
I'm going to go with Cantlay. I mean, like I said off the top, his tee to green is elite. He's beating some of the players like Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka, in approaches right now. He's just got to get the putter fire, and I could see him coming back and making a real statement this weekend. So I'll go with Patrick Cantlay.
Reed?
Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood, I'm sticking with my guy. I mean, he's one of these second-tier guys, one of the best Euro golfers right now this season. So with that Ryder Cup coming up, I think Tommy Fleetwood does well.
Make sure you give it a big rub for luck before you go, people.
Couldn't pay me to touch it. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Reed. Nate Reed, good job not popping your collar today, pal.
Appreciate it. Glasheen, I hope to see you do it at the end of the show.
Okay, well, we'll see if he sucks up to you. You're both terrific. I mean it. Time for more baseball because we're creeping right on up to lineup block. We're going to be rejoined in a moment by Steve and Zach, but we got an alert for you. Mike Trout officially in the lineup tonight. Okay,
all right.
He's home. The Astros are visiting. Justin Verlander's paying $1 million breakfast bills. It's a crazy day out in L.A., but Mike Trout is in the lineup. That is the important thing. So, guys, let's bring you right back in before we do the other stuff that we have planned. Let's just get your reaction to this. How much does this impact how you approach your lineups tonight? Does it at all? Zach?
For me, it doesn't. I'm not paying up for him until I see his form, even though he does have good BVP against Keuchel, which I'm sure we're about to hear about from the mayor of BVP.
Steve, how do you feel about Trout being back in?
He's just too expensive. $5,600 is really expensive for guys just coming back, especially on a slate like this where you can pay up for a lot of good bats and high spots. Look, he's got a 448 WAR against a 289 ISO against left-handed pitching. I mean, you can't say no to that, but in a nutshell, I think $5,600 is a little too much to pay up for Trout in his first game back.
All right, thanks for your input. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's check.
Kind of them.
Let's check out the arms. Not to see who's been going to the gym. We just want to know who will pitch well tonight. Steve, who are you targeting on the slate when it comes to pitching?
Yeah, I really like Derek Rodriguez tonight. I mean, we still haven't seen a pitch count for him tonight, which I'm glad about because he just came back from a mild grade one right hamstring strain. He gets a matchup against the Rangers at home. The Rangers have been average at best at the plate lately, just a 321 WOBA and a 152 ISO over the past 2 weeks, which is just in line with the league average. He's been fantastic at AT&T Park. The Rangers lose a bat tonight without the DH. They got almost an automatic out at the bottom of that order there, so I think I like him in this spot.
All right, how about you, Zach? Pitcher to target?
I like Foltynewicz at the top. Good strikeout rate there, and he's been very good against the Marlins. Coming down a little bit, Zach Godley solid against the Mariners, who are also without a DH tonight in Arizona. And if you really want to save some cash, look at Jalen Bewkes, who's given up 2 runs or less in 4 straight outings. He's expected to pitch most of the innings for Tampa. He's had 17 DKFP in 3 of 4. You get 17 for just over $5K, you're doing all right.
Gets his old team, Boston.
Right.
Jalen Bewkes.
See what winds up happening. This whole opener thing is so odd. But, all right, how about a little fill in the blank? I like these because it makes me feel like I'm playing Mad Libs. The blank are the stack of the night. Zach.
Diamondbacks, Erasmo Ramirez, 7 home runs in 4 starts. The top of that lineup is solid.
Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Braves because obviously they're in the MLB cheat sheet, which I know you all read, so you already know it's the Braves.
I have to leave it memorized.
Steve, you always pick the Braves, I feel like.
Well, because they reap rewards. Is that a problem?
No, it's
just he's just trying to help
point
the
of
people.
fact.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Braves are great. I mean, look, Dan Straley struggles against lefties. This lineup is chock full of lefties. Straley against lefties has a 363 WOBA with a 5.69 FIP, 45% hard hit rate. He's been getting torched since the All-Star break. It has not been a good time for Mr. Straley. I don't care where they are tonight. The Braves are going to smash.
All right, well, Zach, obviously Steve has a crush on the Braves. Why are the Diamondbacks better?
Diamondbacks are better. They're better at home in Chase Field against a bad bullpen and a spot starter.
Any counter, Steve?
Just go with the Braves.
Just dismissed.
Oh, man.
Rude, really.
All right, fellas, who's a good bargain tonight? Folks should take a flyer on. Zach?
Just off the DL to take a page from what Steve's been doing all night, I like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He is coming back after a couple weeks off, but he's looked great in his rehab. He's got that 11 multi-hit game streak going where he was 25 for 50, knocked off the rust in the minor leagues, and actually had multiple hits in 3 of his last 4, including a home run at AAA. He's back. He's at the top of the lineup, and he's cheap.
Steve, who comes to mind?
Yeah, we're going to go with the Moose. Mike Moustakas, 3,800 tonight. Look, Joe Musgrove has been good on the road, but the Brewers are sporting a very healthy 4.5 run projection. Look, Moose is a good source of power. He's cheap at third base, which will likely grab low ownership because just like shortstop, third base is stacked tonight. You know, he's not somebody that's going to go out here and get you 3 hits on the night, but a 334 WOBA with a 223 isolated power, that's absolutely nothing to scoff at the low price point. If you're looking for cheap power and low ownership, this is your dude.
Let's have a little fun as we normally do with the home run watch, all right? Who's chasing dingers? You each get 1 pick. I want to know who is going to hit a home run tonight because they're worth a lot of points, all right? These are the guys worth targeting, but you know, you got to be careful. Miss Steve and I, we fall in love sometimes with the whole batter versus pitcher thing, and I'm going to give you some of my choices on the back end of this, but I want to hear what these guys have first. Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kike Hernandez for a home run tonight, 4,300. I mean, there's no reason you can't fit him into your lineup because he's eligible at both shortstop and the outfield. He has been a force against lefties, especially at Dodger Stadium. 368 WOBA with a 243 isolated power, 5 of his 18 home runs on the year. You know, I don't like Richard tonight at all, especially against the righties. So why wouldn't you take a gander on good old Kike, baby?
Zach?
The Dodgers are a solid stack, and I like that pick. But I'm going Ronald Acuna Jr., 10 home runs this month, loves to hit against the Marlins, and I'm pretty sure it's personal at this point.
Well, the problem is guys love to hit him too.
This is true. He's got to get some body armor, Barry Bonds style.
Yeah, honestly, it's amazing. As a rookie, guy comes up, early, I mean, not quite midway, but early in the year, and all of a sudden he's just raking. It's unbelievable. Some of the guys, though, that I alluded to that you did not mention, because, again, BVP fam right here.
Uh-oh.
Adam Jones, 5 lifetime homers against CC Sabathia. Again, you know how I feel about the BVP. You have Nick Markakis, Ozzie Albies, both in good spots. And how about the big league leader, Chris Davis, guy we talked about a little earlier on. He's got a couple homers in his matchup as well.
I got a pick.
Please.
Justin Turner. I'm stealing from the show earlier. I like Justin Turner because apparently he's done better against left-handed pitching against for the Dodgers this year. So I like Justin Turner. Thanks, guys.
Do you guys
I'll
like
put Chris
our pick,
Davis down for a strikeout, too. Can we put that in there? He'll definitely strike out tonight.
Sure. Well, it's not going to hurt me. Homer, strikeout, whatever. I'll take those offsetting. Slate-approved picks. Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Manny Machado. You know, I was high on him earlier. Hasn't changed, so I'm definitely going to go with Machado.
And Zach?
Build around the corners, sticking with Turner and then Paul Goldschmidt at first base.
Perfect, fellas. We appreciate it. Now, I think for real we're going to let you go because mostly we're running out of show to work with.
Good stuff. Have a good weekend.
Steve, I'll keep you updated on my Tinder profile. We'll catch up next week.
Yeah, let me know how you swiped.
Yeah, well,
we'll do.
Yeah, it's going to be left or right.
All right,
I'll take it. What'd you learn in this show?
What I learned? Well, I think the Put Up Your Bewkes segment is one of the best segments on this show.
That's
and
what he says,
I learned that Manny Machado and or Justin Turner might be a good option in your lineup tonight for the Dodgers. They are a team not only worth looking at as far as put up your Bewkes in that game and Steve's pick, and that Steve holds a lot of weight, period, but a team you could maybe stack tonight.
That felt a little personal. That felt like a jab.
No, it wasn't personal. Steve and I, it was great banter, and he influenced me.
All right, for me, it's I'm a big football fan. Clearly, we do these shows all throughout the year, but it never ceases to amaze me how much people actually care about preseason football. And it's not just the analysts that we talked to earlier in the show. Preseason week number 3, it's a big one. People are paying lots of attention to it, obviously. They want to know who's going to make the team, who's not, who's a good starter, who's a good pick, all of that. And I just could not begin to care less. Even with my team in action, just doesn't do it for me. All right, it's going to do it for us. Obviously, a lot going on tonight and this weekend. It's worth your attention. If you missed any of the chats with Blake Snell or Willie Adames, I encourage you, go back, check them out here on the show. We're on Facebook Live and YouTube. Enjoy the weekend, and remember, the sweat comes your way Monday through Friday, 6 Eastern, right here. We will catch you again real soon. Have fun.